Hello and welcome. I am Vic, also known as the Meat Weaver, and this is the second episode of the series of challenges to finish Act 1. This time I have decided that I want to spend time outside and do majority of my writing in the parks or just like outdoors and in green spaces. So you will see a lot of nature in this one, at least I hope so. I haven't yet decided if I want to only write outside or if I want to just film outside. And I can write at my desk if I wish. So we will see about that. The reasoning why I want to do this specifically is it's summer, it's pretty, and so I want to spend time outside. Probably I have chosen a little bit of a not great week for that because today is the last sunny, warm day, but even that it's not. It's overcast and it's not as warm as it was supposed to be. And the rest of the week will be cloudy, maybe rainy, and 22 degrees max. The rain might be an issue though, so let's hope that that doesn't happen, but who knows. There is another reason I want to do this specifically and now, and it's a bit personal. It is related to writing, but in a bit of a roundabout way. And that's the problem with me and my relationship to both summer and being alone. Because we will see how many people will relate to this as writers. Because, of course, as creative person, I spend a lot of time alone working on my things, my writing, my drawing, my crocheting, my whatever. Like, I am an introvert. I need my time alone to do stuff. And I get overwhelmed and tired easily when I spend too much time with people. And yet, I want to, it's not even lately. It has been a consistent issue for years that the moment summer begins, I get this mental health lull, I would say, because it is a blessing and a curse that most of my friends are from other countries or live in other places in this country. So during high school, people just left to their hometowns during summer, and I would be here mostly alone. But since it was still in Slovakia, we could meet once or twice during the summer. Now, all my friends are from different countries, and that's a bigger problem because the moment semester ends, they are gone. And finding time to meet up is almost impossible, especially because now my summer break is 4 months, not 2 months. So I basically spend 4 months of the year with having none of my normal friends around to spend time with. And that can be incredibly isolating. The root cause of this is not that I don't know how to make friends and that I'm afraid that people don't like me. People like me. The problem is that all my relationships stay a bit surface level, I would say, because people assume that because I am introvert and independent, that I want them to stay at a distance, and so they don't bridge the gap. And I don't know how to bridge the gap on my own. So then everything stays very shallow and not as deep as I would like. And I feel like a lot of people don't really realize how much they matter to me. And that's not something that can be changed just on a whim. But that is kind of the reason why my relationship with being alone has deteriorated over the years. Like the moment I am alone, I'm searching for ways to fill it out and kind of fill out the silence. And every time I sit and write or draw on my own, there is part of me that feels like it's a failure because there is nobody who wants to spend time with me. And that's bullshit. But I need to do something to undo this way of thinking. So that is why I want to spend this week mostly outside to combat this. There is a slight problem to it because when I am on my adventures outside, even alone, I am completely fine with that and I don't have problems spending the time alone outside of my house. The problem is inside of the house, and when I have nobody to kind of take with me, then I get this demotivating feeling and it's difficult to push myself to actually get dressed, pick up the stuff, and go somewhere on my own. So that is what I want to kind of combat in this challenge of writing outside. Like actually putting the effort into going outside on my own and breaking the barriers around it. Let me know if any of that resonates. And yeah, this intro is a bit heavy. Of course, I am thinking about these things now that it's summer and I have spent the past 2 weeks already with nobody around, and yeah. Maybe I should have done this earlier today, but 1 a.m. is where the magic comes out, so these are the cards for this magic writing experiment. So, one more. Okay, hold up. I go on about making some pretty inaccurate and fear-driven ramblings about these cards here. What they are actually about is more the theme of this vlog, which is community. All three of them are circling around community. The Lovers is a choice, self-love and connection card, and the other two are circling the theme of lack of community and lack of support. So together they are basically about redefining what it means to have a community or choose a community and how to build those connections. And that's a much more grounded and positive way to look at this, and hopefully that will stay the positive theme for this little challenge. It is the day 2 of this challenge and I haven't yet to write a single word, which is kind of funny, but also not as unproductive as one might say, because I have been doing a lot of, I wouldn't say background stuff, but what this challenge is actually themed about, which is community. So I did some digging into myself and journaling to figure out like why I even feel this kind of strange way about being alone and community, and like what can I trace it back to. And I found 2 events in 2020 and 2021 that could be that. One being when my horse got that horrible colic and surgery, and basically his life flipped upside down, and then he bugged me off, and so I had basically zero trust in myself. And then a year later when my grandpa died, because he was basically my father figure and the person who spent the most time with me, and basically that's when my nervous system learned that the people who are stable in my life and like structurally important can disappear, and that it has catastrophic consequences basically. And so now I'm like don't leave, don't leave, but if you leave, then let me show you just how great I can do alone. But then I realized the anxiety was there before that, and I've been having like smaller incidents like this even in the previous decade, and so it leads deeper, but I don't know where. It's more like the events in 2020 alongside with the pandemic solidified this fear in stone and like dysregulated my nervous system to the point that it's reverberating through me still. And then I was like, okay, if I need the community and I feel like I'm lacking it, then maybe I should be the person who reaches out and actually tends to the people in my community. And someone nicely said that I treat relationships like constellations. Like I don't have one specific person, but I have a lot of people that kind of orbit me. And that's a very nice way to put it. But still, individual stars need tending to. So I put out a call in my local writing Discord server if anyone is in this city and wants to meet up. And yeah, there was a friend that I have met with 2 years ago that was currently here. And so today we met up at the riverfront and we had almost 4 hours of fun and chatting and catching up and talking about writing media. And I am thanking her for that. That was very necessary for both of us, apparently. But basically, we did everything but writing, which is fine. That is necessary sometimes too. But at least I am now in a much lighter headspace and like having hope about this whole situation and that things can be okay if people are brave enough to call and make the moves themselves. So hopefully that will lead to me being more open to writing tomorrow and actually be able to do it. Since I ended the last vlog, there has been no progress. And it has been a week. But that's fine. That's totally fine. It will come. Well, the weather is an absolute traitor. I wanted to go on a little hike because finally the sky was getting like not as cloudy. There was a little bit of a sunshine, so I was thinking, okay, let's go on a hike and then sit here in the like, archaeological area and write. Do you see the cloud behind me? Of course, it started raining the moment that I have arrived here, and it's cold, and that thing is not going away. What is this? So, yeah, thinking about just going down and going back home because this looks a bit dangerous. But, like, look how pretty it is in here. This is like an old seabed from like millions of years ago. So here are like fossils of seashells and sea life from millions of years ago. It betrayed me. But there was a goat that was very cuddly, and so I'm happy for that. Alright, I think the time has come to cut this vlog off because nothing is going to plan. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So, in terms of writing outside and being outside, that's obviously not working because it's cold and raining and everything is wet, and every time it's not raining and I go outside, it starts raining. So, that is just impossible. The writing itself hasn't been going that well either. And the part about me figuring out how to be alone is just in a mess. So, yeah. I don't know, but this feels like I have been just documenting nothing and got nothing done, but that's not true. So, let's go over what I have actually managed to do. The first few days, absolutely nothing. Then on Tuesday, I think, I finally sat down during Dana's stream and managed to write the whole scene from chapter 19 with the nightmare. And yes, this has worked well because the way it descends from being sweet and cute into being horror-like and absolutely disturbing, but also keeping bits of the gentleness, it's just hitting. Then the next day, I managed to sit down and finish the next scene, which is the aftermath of the nightmare. That scene was about 1,000 words, and a lot of that came straight from draft one. Like, I didn't do major edits, so I'm kind of happy how well that scene has worked even in the previous act, so that is good. And that means I have actually managed to finish chapter 19. And that's great, and I don't know why I am downgrading this as if I have done nothing. So there is that. In terms of the social aspects, I have reconnected with some old friends, made some new ones, but also my being alone is not progressing because I have not been alone that much, except that one hike, or yesterday after horse when I decided to randomly stop by a mall and write. Only I was on the roof trying to write, and it got so cold that I wrote like one paragraph and had to go. And so then I wandered into a bookstore, and first off, I got some new pens and stationery. And also, finally, this book for not a massive price, because usually this is a paperback, so it costs like 14 euros. Usually they sell this as special edition hardback, and it costs like 25. I don't understand it. So finally normal price. Of course I have to snatch it. And then also this one. which I have heard good things about. I have not thought it would be my cup of tea, but we will see. And so, yeah, that probably wraps up what has been happening this week. I have written 1,500 words and finished a chapter, but there is still that one scene of chapter 18 that is absolutely fighting me and refusing to be done. I don't know what to do about that. I guess I will just have to skip it for now. Because then I have the festival only, and that should be more fun because I actually have it written in draft one from last summer, so it shouldn't be that bad. Okay, so that is it from me for now, and bye bye, and see you in the next one.